Did Football Manager just announce a new Premier League license and then not tell us about it? Boys and girls, as I'm sure you've just seen, Football Manager have this evening dropped a new feature preview trailer across social media. I'm sure you've probably had a chance to watch it by now. If you haven't, I'll link to it down in the description below. We're going to watch it together as part of this video as well. The big headline coming out of it, though, is the potential for there maybe being either Premier League licensing as a whole, or at the very least, one particular Premier League team licensed in the new game that haven't been licensed previously, because the Leicester City logo is noticeable at 2 separate points in the trailer. We're going to have a look at that in a second. But before we get to that point, would this even be a YouTube video if I didn't remind you that I am going to be doing daily FM21 videos from the moment the beta drops in a few weeks' time? If that's something that you're looking forward to or excited about, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, turn your notifications on, so that you don't miss out on that content when it starts to drop. And if you haven't yet pre-ordered FM21, I do have a discount link. It's down in the description below. It gets to the game much cheaper than it would be to buy directly from Steam or from Epic. And it also helps support the channel as well. So you're saving a little bit of money while helping me make a little bit of money too. It's win-win for everybody. Thank you to those of you who's used that link so far. If you want to check it out, the link to that is also down in the description below. But I think we need to watch this trailer. Let's get the headphones on. Let's have a little look, shall we? So there we have a Leicester City logo at the top there. So we know at the very least Leicester are licensed in the new game. They weren't previously. Watford were licensed last year, and we see them appear later on in the video now. Obviously, they're no longer in the Premier League, so it could be that they've got budget for X number of Premier League teams, and Leicester are just the one that they've picked up this year. Or it could be an indication that there might be a bigger announcement coming through with more Premier League teams added. Obviously, we've previously had Everton licensed in the game a few years back. They had the Arsenal edition of the game last year that allowed you to get Arsenal licensed if you bought the Arsenal edition. So it's definitely something they've been working on in the background for a number of years now, trying to get the Premier League licensing. And it is interesting to just see that sneak into the trailer as a little Easter egg without any mention of it anywhere. But what we do know is that from the previous announcements back in September that they were planning on announcing licensing stuff early October. It's now, I would say, mid-October, and we still haven't had those announcements. So they should be coming. I would suggest this week we'll find out for sure if the Premier League license has been acquired, or whether it is just Leicester and maybe some other clubs too. Certainly makes me have a little think about potentially using Leicester for my beta save, as that is the city I'm moving to. It's all coming together. So, big changes to recruitment here. Everything's moving very quickly, deliberately. But this is very deliberate, targeted scouting discussions and scouting and recruitment things that are going to be going on, where you can go search for specific players. I know you could do that to an extent previously. That was a new button. If we just go back there as well. Ask agent about availability. That's not been there before. So this stuff is all familiar. There's nothing new there apart from ask agent about availability. So you can now approach for a player via the agent without actually talking to the club, which is, I mean, it's how modern football works, certainly at the higher level, so it is an interesting thing to add in. As ever, Football Manager reflecting the real-life game. And this is the new interaction, both player and media interaction. So this is like a press conference with multiple journalists there. If we go back to that view, we've got to jump back a little bit further. Where were we? So this is press conference with lots of journalists there. So we've got the Evening Standard, we've got BBC Sport, and obviously it highlights who's asking which questions. Now, if that's all they've changed, that's not that exciting. But if press conferences as a whole has had a huge overhaul, then I am absolutely in favour of that, because I know I'm not alone in not having touched press conferences for a number of years now, because they haven't changed pretty much since they were added to the game 10 years ago. Plucking that number off the top of my head. So a change to press conferences is well overdue, and it looks like it's being addressed. Match day stuff, that all looks familiar. Nothing new there, I don't think. But now we have changes to the tactical stuff pre-match, I guess. So it looks like we can now have discussions with players and presumably staff about what role they should be playing in the game. So it's less us as managers dictating what the players are going to do, and potentially more back and forth with players maybe saying, I'm not comfortable doing that, or I'd rather do it this way, which that could completely revolutionize the way tactics work in game. Tom cleverly turning up to have a little chat with the boss. And I opened my arms widely towards the player, which appears to improve their body language. So hugging is going to be an FM21, it seems. You can now hug Tom cleverly, confirmed. We're now getting a response from him. I've been really pleased with your recent training. Okay, so I held out for a hug and then I carried on talking, telling him I like his training and I want to give him a cuddle because of it. And then we've got in-game detail stuff. So, what is this graph? We've got a graph that I don't recognize. We've got more, and this is a shot map. There's more analytical stuff. For those of you who like the analytics pages. A heat map on there as well, which we've had previously, haven't we? And I wonder if we've got more in-depth shouts, if we're talking about managing from the touchline. We've certainly got... Now, that is interesting. Because don't read too much into this, but this has had a little bit of a tidy up. And what we can see there straight away, we have no text commentary at the bottom. The buttons that previously used to be at the top of the screen are now at the bottom of the screen. And the little notifications that came up at the top have now moved to the bottom. Now, that's not major unless they've removed the text commentary, which would be very sad if they have. But it's certainly not there on these screenshots or these little bits of video. And we've got more statistical stuff. So I guess this is the records page getting a little bit of an overhaul, which is quite nice, keeping them in a little bit more depth. And there's your confirmation again that FM21 is out on PC and Mac on the 24th. You get 10% off by ordering directly through Steam or Epic, and you can get a further 10% off by ordering through my link down below. It's currently less than £33. It's less than Epic and Steam, that's for sure. Now, I know I started this video talking about potentially having Premier League licenses. This screen immediately makes me think, okay, maybe not, because we've got the Bundesliga official license logo there. No mention of the Premier League anywhere on this screen. I scoured the screen before starting the video. So, I mean, I think we're probably being hopeful. No, nothing else pops up. So I think I'm probably being hopeful, suggesting that we might be getting a Premier League license. But I guess what we do know is Leicester definitely being added into the game. And there's some tweaks to areas of the game that haven't been tweaked for a long time. Press conferences, player and staff interactions, agent interactions, and definitely some changes, at the very least, to how the match screen looks and tactical stuff potentially works. So lots of little tweaks. We're going to find out more very, very soon. The beta, I would suggest, if the game is out on the 24th of November, we're going to be getting the beta first week of November, maybe pushing into the early part of the second week of November. So we're less than a month away from the beta dropping. Features are going to start dropping very, very soon, including, no doubt, confirmation on the licensing stuff. And that is me spending how long? 10 minutes unpacking a 1-minute trailer. That is how to YouTube. Mid-roll ads! But let me know down in the comment section what you thought of the trailer, if there's anything on there that I've missed, if you've interpreted anything I've seen differently. Would love to get a conversation going down in the comment section. Of course, as more information drops in the coming days, weeks, month, not plural there because the game's going to be out in a month, I'll keep you updated as much as I can, but obviously those videos will sometimes be a little bit late because if detail drops after I've packed my office away and started moving house, then you might just get a mobile phone reaction that I stick on Twitter or something. So make sure you follow me on all platforms if you want to know my thoughts on stuff as and when it drops. If we get more info this week, I should definitely be good to make videos on it. If you want to talk about this in any more depth, I'll be streaming on Twitch in about an hour from when this video comes out, probably. So you can come and chat with me over there and tell me everything I got wrong. If you've enjoyed that little snippet into FM21, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss out on the FM21 content as soon as it starts to drop. Thank you very much for watching.